Welcome to Lecture 6 of Module 1, which is going to be dealing with creating custom workspaces. And this is where we left off with the last video tutorial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and just get some extra things to come out here a little bit. So I'm going to pop this guy out and let's see, I'm going to come over here and choose let's see now, what's new in CS6? So there you go. So there's the panels for that. All right. Now I don't like that one, so I'm going to go and reset new in CS6. That doesn't do absolutely anything. Why don't I come up here and I'm going to choose Essentials, and that sets me up this way. That's not what I like, but that's set up that way. So, I mean, depending on how you want to have things set up, I can come under here and I can come down to the photography one like I said before, or I can actually just go and create my own based on things that I use on a regular basis. As you can see, I've created one up here called John's Amazing Workspace, and if I was to come over here and take a look at it and see what it is, it's not all that amazing, but it's just a name that I gave it. Now, the reason why I did this, all right, with this in mind, is so you can see that you can actually save a workspace with panels from the small little pop-up guys here sticking out like this. The other thing I wanted to show you is that the toolbar down here is also a panel, and you can move that around wherever you want it to be. So I know a lot of people that use the toolbar over on the right hand side because they think it's ridiculous that I have to come all the way over here, to come all the way over here, or to come over here and do something. So they're right-handed, they want everything on the right hand side. Hey, there's people that design web pages that have the menu navigation on the right hand side. So each to their own. I'm going to now come under Workspace again, and I'm going to choose to delete that John's Amazing Workspace because I just don't think that's a very good and efficient one to have. So I'm going to come down to here, and is it there? Well, that's the one. So I'm going to delete. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that piece of junk as well. All right, and I can't delete a workspace that I'm currently using. So I'm going to come over here to the photography one, have that set up. I'm just going to collapse that just like this. And now if I come under Workspace and choose Delete Workspace, I can actually delete, but I can't choose the currently active one. So I'm going to delete that guy and get rid of that one. All right, and if I wanted to come in and rearrange things, have things set up a little bit differently, then I would do that. So what I might want to do is take the info and kind of just tuck him inside there. Navigator, I might want to put that one down in there. The histogram I want to be by itself. And I think I'm going to leave the adjustments there. The properties panel can stay there as well. Actually, I'm going to drag that one down to there as well. So I have this guy sitting by himself, that one sitting by himself. Now I just want to come over here and see there's something called expanded view. All right? And that just opens things up a little bit further, wider, and everything's fantastic. See this little alert box over here? That just means that I need to refresh my histogram. So if I click on that, you'll see that my histogram just got refreshed. All right, so now that I have this set up this way with these guys down here, what I'm going to do is come over to the workspace and I'm going to choose New Workspace. And in here, I'm going to call this one John's Amazing Workspace. You see, I can't even type. All right. All right, and if I had any new keyboard shortcuts and changed any of the menu things, which we will discuss in a future lecture, then I would want to save those as well. Okay, so now I have John's Amazing Workspace. I can come over to here and I can choose the photography workspace. And I can come over here and choose a painting workspace. I can come over here and choose one based on typography. And I can come back and do something for video if I wanted to. You get the idea. So I can come over here and set this up for John's Amazing Workspace, or I can come back down and choose the photography one, which essentially is the same thing. I'm not seeing it move around at all. I can reset the photography to that, and then I can come over here and choose John's Amazing Workspace and have that set up that way. All right. Now, while we're talking about panels, groupings, and all this kind of stuff, I just want to take a second to explain the tool panel here. All right. Now, the tool panel obviously has all the tools that we can use in Photoshop available to us. Now, when you see a tool icon that has this little downward pointing arrow, if I click and hold, that just means there's a flyout with some more options in there. All right, and each one of these tools has their own keyboard shortcut. There's no command, there's no control, there's no option shift or anything like that. At this point, it's just these guys. Now, do you remember in the preferences lecture where there was something that had something to do with shift controls tool switch? So if I had, as an example, the move tool selected, all right, the move tool keyboard shortcut, if I hold my cursor over here long enough, should show that it is the V key. All right, and if I come over here and click on this, you can see that it is the M key. All right, so I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to tap the V key, so now I have the move tool. And did you notice the options bar changes for every tool that we have? We have different ways of utilizing those tools. So now if I click the M key, or just tap the M key, that should give me the marquee. Now, if I hit the M key again, or whatever it is, I can't go and get the other tools that are hidden in there. But if I hold the Shift key down and then tap the M, notice I go to the elliptical marquee. All right, so now if I come over here and click on this, you'll see that there are keyboard shortcuts, M and M for marquee, for the rectangular marquee tool and the elliptical marquee tool, but there is no keyboard shortcut for the single row marquee or the single column. That's because they're not used very often, so why waste keyboard shortcuts on them? All right, fantastic. Now, with the Lasso tool, the keyboard shortcut is L, and if I take a look inside here, there is a Polygon lasso, or polygonal lasso tool, and then there's the magnetic lasso tool. We will cover all of these selection tools in the selection module, but just for now, know that it's L and then Shift L, Shift L. All right, so if I were to do this and come over and hit the move tool, then if I were to hit the, I'm going to move my cursor away for a second. If I hit the L key, I have the lasso. If I hold down the Shift, I go to the polygonal or Polygon lasso tool, and if I continue holding the Shift key down and tap the L key, then I get the magnetic lasso tool. All right? Okay. Now, the same thing goes with the magic wand, W for wand. This tool was around a lot longer than the quick selection tool. So it'd be W and then Shift W. All right, just going to put that back to where it was. This would be the crop tool, and that's C, and it's just Shift C, Shift, 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 and all that kind of stuff. And you get these guys. This is I for the eyedropper tool, and all of the fun little guys in here. We'll cover these off in a short little video, bonus video later on. And then you got the patch tool and all these guys here. Now, the thing I wanted to stress to you is the tools are grouped. I'm just going to grab the move tool. I always like to grab the move tool. All right, you'll see that we have a grouping up here for the first 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tools. Now, these 6 tools are selection based, if you will. They allow you to select some aspect of your Photoshop document, either the whole thing or just a portion of it, or just select the color inside it. But somehow, some way, you'll be selecting something with these tools here. The next bunch of tools, all right, and if I click on this and go to the spot healing and put my cursor inside the window, you'll see that it is a circular thing, and it's a brush-based thing. And this next grouping here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tools are, for the most part, brush-based tools. In the first grouping here, this guy, the patch tool, is not a brush, and the content aware move tool, weird animal, not a brush-based tool, but for the most part, the rest of them are. In our brushes, yes, brush-based tools. Clone stamp tool, brush-based tools. History brush, yes. Eraser, Eraser is a brush-based tool, and you can change the type of brush or eraser tool that you're using. We can get into that in a later video. This one here is probably the only one that doesn't have anything to do with a brush. All right, and this is the gradient tool, the paint bucket tool, and then we have the 3D material drop tool. All right, and then you have the blur, sharpen, and smudge. And then we have the dodge, burn, and sponge tools. These are all brush-based tools. The next groupings down here are vector-based tools. They basically create scalable vector artwork. All right. This guy is your pen tool. It doesn't really create artwork, but allows you to create a path from which you can make a selection. Again, scalable. Just like vector artwork and all that kind of stuff, and customized on. And your type tool is a vector type, editable constantly. We can have some fun with type in a later exercise, and maybe I'll even show you guys how they create that chiseled look for Lord of the Rings and the most recent movie, The Hobbit. All right. Then the next grouping here is more functionality than anything else. You have the zoom tool, and then you have the hand tool. Well, when you zoom in, you can actually grab the hand tool to start manipulating around. And then you have rotate view tool. This thing can be a little bit of a bugger if you don't be careful with that guy. All right, and then we have our color chips down here. This is our foreground color, and this is our background color. These are the default colors. All right, just like when you open up Microsoft Word, your default artboard is white and your default color for text is black. So it's black on white just as a default. All right, if you want to change colors, then all you have to do is click on the color chip, come in and change a color, click on that. And then if you decide that you wanted to go back to your default colors, then you can either come over here and click on that little icon which has a black color chip on top of a white color chip, or you can just hit the letter D on your keyboard for default colors. All right, and then you have this little switcheroo icon over here which will allow you to switch your foreground and background colors. I can click on that to switch things back and forth, but you can also use the keyboard shortcut of X for exchanging your foreground and background colors. All right, the next guy down here is your quick mask mode. We'll get into all that, but it has to do with selection-based editing. And then this guy down here is, if I click on this, change your screen mode around and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just going to cancel out of that. And, well, let's go back into, oh, here we go. Now we've gone and done it, Ollie. All right, so now I'm going to hit the F key to get me back into there. I don't like using those little icons down there. What I like to do is I like to just tap the F key. If you hit the F key once, now we're in full screen mode. All right, and don't see that much different, but you'll see it in a second. All right, what I want you to do is I just want you to pay attention to where the rulers are, which is the edge of my document. You can see many bridges way down there. Hit the F key again. Now I am in presentation mode. If I get rid of my rulers by just doing Command R, now it looks like we're in total presentation mode, and then I can go over here and hit this guy and then Command R to bring my rulers back inside my document, but not, all right, full screen mode where this thing pops down at the edge of everything. All right, so that's about all that I wanted to talk about with creating custom workspaces. I know I went a little bit off on a tangent with the toolbar over here, but it was something that was needed. We needed to cover that off and talk about it. And so I guess that's about it for this. And in the next video, we're going to talk about selecting a pixel's color. And I'm also going to show you about that heads-up display color picker thing that we saw in the preferences dialog box back in one of the earlier lectures. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.